Hi guys, welcome to my channel Final Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me, and in today's video we're going to be creating looks with the Urban Decay prints palettes. So I've got both of them. You've got the Look palette, which is the black one, and I've got the Let's Go Crazy palette, which is the purple one. If you're not familiar with what the palettes look like inside, I'll show you up close. You've got the Look palette being fairly neutral, and then the Let's Go Crazy palette is the purple one with some blues and a pop of red in there. So we're going to be creating a look with each of the palettes, starting with the You've Got the Look palette. So let's just hop into the tutorial part of the video. Okay guys, so we're going to be starting with the You've Got the Look palette. It's the one that appeals to me the most of the two, which you wouldn't expect really, because I do like purples, but this has got a lot more depth and I've got a few more ideas for this one. I think I want to use this shade Bold Generation over the majority of my lid, but I do want to use this one as well, Endorphin Machine, kind of over the top of that, so kind of like angling the shades on my lid. And then for a crease shade I definitely want to use Groovy Potential, this purple with gold specks of shimmer in it. And yeah, probably use some of the lighter shades as inner corners or brow bone. But yeah, let's get started. So because I'm going with quite a deep colour on the lid, I thought I'd go in with my Lancome Stylo. This is in Taupe Quartz. If I'm going to be doing kind of a smoky eye, I do really love these pencils for that, because they give a bit more of an opaque base to start off your smoky eye. But I only want that on the lid space. And then I'll probably prime with something else going up towards my brow. So I'm just going to fluff around the edges of that just to blend it a little bit. As I say, it's just to give that little bit more depth and opacity on the lid. I'm going to go in with the Sigma eyeshadow base in Persuade above that, because it's kind of a pinky tone, but I think it will work okay because the shade I'm planning to put in my crease is this kind of colour as well. So this is very extra, 2 primers today, but it should give us a nice foundation for what I'm planning to do. You could just as easily just put a clear primer on, or whatever primer you normally use. I'm going to start with the shade Love to the Nines, this one here, and just put that in the upper part of my crease just to give me something to blend some of these dark shades that I'm going to use into. Almost like setting my primer really, but we're going to use that shade to do it. So I'm using the biggest fluffy brush that I ever use in a look. Don't use brushes this size anymore. This one's the S1. I used to always use massive brushes like this, and this would be the sort of technique I'd do, like the whole crease would be just covered in colour when I used to use neutrals a lot more. You just cover a lot of ground in a short space of time and blend out really well, so it works well for neutrals. Alright, now we're going to go in with Groovy Potential, this one here. Got Sigma E45, sort of fluffy but tapered, and that's going kind of above my natural crease. So everywhere that we've laid down that Love to the Nine shade, but just a bit lower. The opposite way to how I generally do my shadows these days, so I normally go in with the deepest colour, but I thought, as I'm doing a smoky eye, sometimes it's easier to go in with the blending shade first, and it gives you something to blend into. That shade's got some gold sparkling, but it's one of these sequin shadows that you won't see the sparkle once it's down. But it's a beautiful purpley tone, quite cool toned, really pretty. I'm going to take that one on the lower lash line as well. So I want this look to be pretty smoky, so going quite low with the colour, and I'm making sure it's meeting up with the outer corner as well. Okay, now I want to get some real depth into like the depth of my crease there, so we're going to go in with So Dark, the black in the palette. I'm going to stamp that into the crease. I'm using a fluffy brush, but it's quite a pinched brush. It's the JH51. Just tracing that crease with that colour, but just really to Start building some depth there. I'm going to use So Dark, the black again, just to push some colour along the lower lash line. Still not sure we've got quite the amount of smokes going on that I wanted in this outer corner, so I'm just adding a bit more of that Groovy Potential shade, the purpley one, in this outer corner here. Okay, now in with NYX Glitter Primer. I'm going to cover the whole of my lids with that. I'm not doing a kind of cut crease or anything, so it's just plopping it on really. Just want to give us something for the shimmers to really pop over. Interestingly, I don't think I've ever used NYX Glitter Primer with an Urban Decay shadow, because I've been using NYX Glitter Primer for a couple of years, but I don't think I've bought an Urban Decay palette in that time. I'm going to go in with Endorphin Machine, this one first of all, and trace kind of the front part of my eye. So just want a flash of this just in the corner here. I'm kind of on a bit of a diagonal, so more of it at the top of the crease and less of it towards the front. But wow, isn't this a popping gold over that glitter primer? As soon as I opened this palette and swatched it a bit, I was like, yeah, there's some special shades in here. This isn't your usual Urban Decay. That is a stunning, reflective, beautiful gold. I'm going to bring that down a little bit and into my lower lash line as well. Just wrap it around the tear duct there because it's such a gorgeous shade and I want to see it in the look. I love gold or silver metallic shadows so much. They always like add something wow to a look. Alright, now going in with Bold Generation, this one. I'm packing that over the lid there. Not getting too much fallout. It's a pretty deep and intense shade, so I was worried I might, but where we've sort of got that diagonal of the gold, I'm just feathering those two shades together. Going to add a bit more of the gold on this side just to match the other side a bit better. And then just put a bit of Shockadelica on the lower lash line, just between the gold and where we've got the rest of the shadows on the lower lash line, just literally in that portion there. It's a bit more of a satin shade, but I think it works quite well for the purpose there. Just make sure that gold's kind of feathering over the top. Okay, that's the look to this point. Just going to hop off camera for the finishing touches and I'll be back with you to show you the look with the You've Got the Look palette. Okay guys, so this is the finished look with the Urban Decay Prince You've Got the Look palette. Really love how it turned out. I always love a smoky eye. They're so easy to create, but they're always so dramatic. There's just something special about them. In my waterline, I've gone in with Black Core by Linda Hallberg, LH Cosmetics. Any black eyeliner in the waterline would do for this look. Just wanted to make it even deeper and more smoky. And then for lips today, I've gone in with Anastasia's Grim, which is like that grady, beigey kind of tone that I think perfectly complements the crease colour. So yeah, I really love how this one turned out. The palette is amazing. I'm so impressed with it. Like, Urban Decay gets such a bad rep, don't they, at the moment? Like, they can't seem to do anything right. When this came out, everyone was disappointed, didn't think it represented Prince in the way that they thought it should. And I think when you're doing a collaboration with someone who's no longer with us, that was such an icon as well, it's very difficult to please people. But if you take away the fact that it's anything to do with Prince and just judge it as a palette, wow, there's some standout shades in here. That Bold Generation shade, it looks grey here. It's kind of more black on the lids. It's the shade I've got over most of my lids, of course, but it's got a little bit gold sparkle in it, but it's really smooth. And yeah, it's pretty special, something unique I don't have. The Groovy Potential shade that I've got in my crease is just such a beautiful tone, and perfectly complements the other shades that are there. It's one of these sequin shadows, you know, with the glitter in, but you don't see that once it's blended. It does help with the blending process though, that's why they put that in there, I think, because for me this is a pretty blended look and it was so easy to achieve. The Endorphin Machine shade, the gold, that's really popping, really pretty. I always love a sparkly gold and that one's definitely got that going on. So I've not used all of the shades. I did pop a bit of brow bone highlight on with Sexy Dancer there off camera because I just felt it needed just something to just brighten things a little bit there, but I've not used them all. But yeah, really impressed. I think, as I say, this might be a bit of a sleeper hit, like people just didn't pay it any attention, but it is really fantastic. It's still available, guys. I got mine 50% off. I've had a look today. I think one of the palettes is still £50, the other one's about 35, but there's always sales on Urban Decay if you're interested to pick it up. But yeah, that's my look and my thoughts on the You've Got the Look palette. So let's jump into the next look where we're going to be using the Let's Go Crazy palette. Okay, so for my look with the Let's Go Crazy palette, I want to incorporate the red, of course I do. It's the shade Raspberry Beret. It's one of my favourite print songs, but also if you know me at all, you know red is one of my favourite colours in eyeshadow, so that's going in the look for sure. I think I'm going to do a blue lower lash line and maybe a shimmery lower lash line. But I'm going to start with purple in my crease, and I think this one's going to just evolve as we go, to be honest. So I'm going to prime with the Sigma eyeshadow base for this one. All over my lids. I'm going to be using NYX Glitter Primer because I want to try and bring out some of the sparkles from these shades as well. There are some really pretty shimmers in this palette and I want to showcase how lovely they are. It's funny how I wanted to use the darker palette first. I think I'm definitely into neutrals more so at the moment than I am colour, which is really strange for me, but I am excited about creating a look with this one today as well. I think I'm going to do a two-tone crease, not done that for a while, so I'm going to start with Computer Blue in the inner part of my crease. I'm just going to take that there. Powdery, pastel-y sort of blue. Not my favourite kind of blue in a look, but I'm going to do something a little bit different today. So I'm just taking that in the inner part of my crease, not too far along, I just want a little bit of interest there in that inner corner. I might take it a little bit higher towards my nose though, that kind of colour placement can definitely change up a look. It's more pigmented than I expected. I didn't have high hopes for a pastel blue from Urban Decay, but it's actually really nice. Just trying to make sure we've got that going up high enough on both sides. We are going to do what the palette says and we're going to go a little bit more crazy with this look. And we're going to take the shade Funk and Roll, the one next to it, which I think is a satin, but we're just going to use it as a matte, to be honest. Yeah, I think it is a satin, but it's fine. We should be able to get it to blend enough in the crease. So I'm taking that, I'm going to go in a rounded shape with it, but I probably will add a wing to this look, so sometimes I find doing a rounded shape works better when I'm going to do a wing, and then I can take the wing through it. Might have a bit of fallout to clean up at the end of this, but this is a nice tone of purple. I would have liked it to be a little bit more pigmented, just a little bit more dramatic. It's building nicely and it's blending nicely, so that's okay. Oh, it's been so long since I've done a two-tone crease. Probably Christmas time, I think, was the last time I did that. I've been sticking to fairly basic looks this year. It's nice to do something a little bit more wild. I'll try and make sure that goes up high enough in this outer corner because that helps to lift my eye shape up a little bit as well, give me more eye space. I'm having to really work that in because, as I say, it's not a true matte, it's probably more like a satiny shade. But now it's built up, I think it's looking really pretty. Not going to do anything with the lower lash line yet, as I say, because I want that to be blue. Just to make sure everything's blended a bit more on the outer edges, I'm going to use Alphabet Street. Peachy toned but very light matte. Just going to use that just on this outer edge here. So I'm going to go in with NYX Glitter Primer, of course, for my lids, make these shimmers pop. I'm going to take that all over my lids, and I am going to do it in a kind of cut crease shape, so I'm making sure to really go into the socket of my eyeball there. And then on this outer corner we're going to go in with Delirious, this one here. Just pack that in the outer corner. I'm getting a bit of fallout from that shade. Luckily my highlight's got quite a bit of purple in it, so I should just put some more highlight over the top. Right, next up we're going to go in with Baby I'm a Star. Don't want too much of that one, but I just want to just use that to bridge the gap between that and the Raspberry Beret shade. And then we're going in with Raspberry Beret. I'm going to pack that over the majority of my lid, or all of the lid space that we have left there. I don't think the shimmers are quite as wow in this one as in the You've Got the Look palette. It's taken me a little bit to build it up, but it's pretty. Right, I want to incorporate this DSMR shade. I think I'm going to pack it sort of in my crease but above that red there. So I'm going to pack it on a pencil brush and just spray it. I'm just going to pick out the tippy top of that red. Just give us a little bit of definition between that blue and the red as well. It's just subtle, but it makes that little bit of difference, I think. So for the lower lash lines where we're going to have some fun, I'm going to put White Core by Linda Hallberg in my waterline. But then for my lower lash line I'm going to go in with Cool Mood by Linda Hallberg, because I want to do that angle down kind of thing, give myself an extended inner corner. I'm just tracing a bit of a shape, so I've got a sort of tear duct area that's a lot larger than I would normally have. Something along those lines, and I'm going to do the same obviously on the other eye and try and get it symmetrical. And then in that area that we've created, I just want to take that white pencil there because we're going to use that as a base. And I'm just going to smudge that blue just a little bit, just with a really teeny tiny brush. Then I'm going to pack Indigo Nights, this shade here, on this little brush, spray it, and then we're going to go over that to have a nice shimmery lower lash line. So the idea here is that we won't see that pencil, but that was just our base to get this shimmery lower lash line down. And the tiniest bit of Get Your Groove on, this one here, I want to try and connect things around in this corner here. And under the lower lash line as well. Again, this is a satin, so it's going to take a bit of working in to get it to do what I want. It's just giving us that connection now between the upper lash line and the lower lash line. I'm aware that the look looks quite crazy at the moment, but I think eyeliner will bring this all together, that winged eyeliner. I think we need just a bit more funk and roll just to give us a bit more depth just out here in this outer corner. Not going to see a lot of that though because the wing will cover it anyway. In this little area here we've created, I'm going to go in with When Doves Cry. I've just got a lip brush because it's nice and small. And I'm just going to use that and just pack it over that and kind of connect a little bit with the DSMR shade that we put into that crease. Okay, so that's the look to this point. Just going to hop off camera, as I say, for a wing liner, for some mascara and a lip to finish off the look, and I'll be back with you with the final look with the Let's Go Crazy palette. Okay guys, so this is the finished look with the Urban Decay Prince Let's Go Crazy palette. Really like how it turned out. It's unusual, isn't it? It's unusual placement of colours, which I'm kind of known for, I guess. I think most of the people that would have reviewed this palette wouldn't have done something like this with it, but I really wanted to just have a bit of a play with this one. For my lips today, I've gone in with an LA Splash Classic Horror lipstick. I love these. This one's in the shade Mummy. I wanted to do like almost like a concealer lips, you know, completely erase my lips so that the eyes really stand out and become the star of the show for this one. So for this palette then, what do I think of it? Well, I didn't love it as much as the You've Got the Look palette because I just love the dark, deep smokiness of that palette. And some of the shimmers are a lot more kind of reflective and special in that one. But having said that, I do enjoy this one. I think it could have just been your boring, just purple monochromatic palette. And they've not done that. With the addition of this Raspberry Beret shade and the blues, it gives it a lot more versatility to get a bit more creative with it. That shade Raspberry Beret is really special. Raspberry is the right tone to call it. It's not a red. It is kind of a red with some pinky sparkle. It's hard to really do it justice on camera, but it's beautiful. And also DSMR, it's a lilac blue duochrome. It's gorgeous. It's not really showing as much as it could do in this look. All over the lid it would look stunning. As is usual with Urban Decay, you don't get very many true mattes. That's the only thing. I've had to use, like, Funk and Roll is a satin shade, and I've had to use that kind of as a matte, but it works. That's the thing with Urban Decay, is their satin formula is quite blendable and quite a thin formula, but not in a bad way, so you can blend it as if it was a matte, but it does have that shine to it, so if you don't like that in your crease, you won't like that. But that shade When Doves Cry, a little bit disappointed. It wasn't quite as special and reflective as I was hoping in the inner corner. But I always pack my inner corner shades over a white base if I want to do this kind of extended inner corner. And so that saved it, I think. But it's not as special a shade as I was hoping. But that shade's beautiful, Indigo Night. It's not often I say a blue is beautiful, but again, it's got that ultra reflectiveness about it, and it looks stunning on the lower lash line, I think. So yeah, I had a lot of fun playing with this one as well. Obviously, the You've Got the Look palette was more my thing. It's got a lot more depth in it, and I think just lately I'm enjoying more neutral and gold and silver kind of looks and not so much out there colourful. But having said that, I love how this has turned out. It's just something creative, something a bit different, and yeah, a lot of fun to do. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing them both in action. I know a few of you have said you wanted to see these palettes in action. They're not new palettes by any means, but as I said at the end of the tutorial for the You've Got the Look palette, they are still available. So if there's something that you're interested in. And just before we finish the video, just quickly, I'll give you my thoughts on the Wild Greens palette. Not got it yet, obviously it's not in the UK yet, but it's going to be stocked on Beauty Bay and on Urban Decay's website. If you're from the UK, I think you can already get it in the US. But I love the packaging of that because they're doing a lot more slimmer packaging, like this kind of size. And that one opens in the middle, the same as this. And it's got the square pans that Urban Decay used to be known for, you know, with the Vice palettes. So a lot of people have said they don't think it's very Urban Decay. I think it is. They're making makeup for the masses, aren't they? They're not making makeup for people that love colourful indie shadows. And I think whenever looking at Urban Decay, you have to remind yourself of that. They want to sell en masse to department stores and on, you know, wherever they may sell. I think it's a good direction that they're going in because neutrals are going to be a big thing this year. There's a row of neutrals and then you've got the row of greens, and for anyone that's kind of into neutrals but they want to dip their toe into colour, green is like a safe space for a lot of people, and I think it's just so spring-like as well. So I probably might pick that one up, you know, because I'm just such a stan for Urban Decay, as you probably know, and I was sad to see the direction they were going in with so many repetitive naked palettes. They were just on this train forever and ever, and it just got so boring to me. So to see them bring out something that's a little bit exciting again, that maybe do a double take, I think I really need to support that, and I probably do want to buy that one. But we'll see, because as you guys know, I'm on a low buy, don't want to be buying too many palettes, we'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that if you are at all interested in what I thought of it. But that wraps up the video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me play with the Urban Decay Prints palettes. and I hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out, and hopefully see you in the next video. Bye guys.